What's up, guys? It's Daniel with VintageMagic.com. Got back from GP Vegas in the midst of moving also, so I apologize for the inconsistency of all the videos. I will have some updates this week with more videos and some more Patreon rewards. Remember, guys, for all Patreon members, if you guys recall that the June special also applies for July. So if you haven't took advantage of that, please check that out. In the playlist section below for my videos, you will find Patreon rewards, and I believe like the first video or whatever, it has the title. You can go over what the reward is. All right, so today's video is, let's go back to more of the basics on what this channel is all about. I want to make sure I have the time to do some content, especially with all the chaos going on with moving. I know you guys can feel the pain of moving, but I'm gonna try to fit as many videos as I can as I'm in the midst of doing all this. So, first off, this video is about actually a very broad question, and I got it from one of the, from our website, asked us, how do you grade Magic the Gathering cards? There were specifics on how does the corners and the edges get graded, subjectiveness, yada, yada, yada. I think what's interesting about this particular subject is I wanted to kind of dive into kind of what grading Magic cards really is, or grading in general. And what grading is, doesn't matter if you use PSA or Beckett, is there is definitely a kind of a level of game involved in the whole process. What I mean by game is that the industry itself, grading, is you have to look at how they're measured. And there's a lot of human error that goes with grading. And the game itself has to do with speed. Think about it this way, guys. If you are an industry and you are looking to get the most revenues in dollars, right? What are you gonna do? Are you always gonna grade the card exactly correct every single time? Obviously, PSA and Beckett, their goal is to do that. However, if you're doing a lot of volume and if your compensation is based off speed and volume, obviously, it's simple math. If you do more cards graded, you also get more revenue, right? So if you think about it, it's kind of like, if you're a grader and these guys don't make a ton of money, by the way. They probably make like minimum wage plus maybe $4 or $5 more an hour, and plus some compensation additional for speed. And that's probably where they're getting their additional revenues. But back in the day, this was kind of how it went, is that you had to do, if you did more orders and such like that, you would get more money. I'm not sure exactly if that's changed, but I guarantee you there has to be a level of compensation or measurement based on their speed of their grading. Obviously, accuracy matters, and also if you damage people's cards, obviously if you do that, you're gonna you're probably gonna end up getting fired. But in terms of speed of grading, think about it, guys. If you're looking at cards all the time under a dark room in a kind of a light one light setting, you're looking at loops, you're looking at various techniques for grading, how many mistakes are you going to make? I mean, seriously, your eyes can only focus and take so much type of wear that eventually it's inevitable you're going to make mistakes. And that's the problem, guys. The problem with grading is that there's human error involved. And let me just be upfront and honest with you, it drives me freaking nuts that they make all these freaking mistakes all the time. It's freaking annoying. Seriously, honestly, does it annoy you if you sent in some cards into grading and you went off and basically got the cards back, and let's say you thought it was going to get a 9.5 and it comes back an 8. Then you crack it out and of the case or whatever, come back and it comes back a 9. Then after the third or fourth time you crack it out at whatever and you get to finally a 9.5. Are you kidding me? That happens. I don't even know how to explain like how often that happens in this industry. It's this. I'm not sure if it's because the graders are, you know, like, and this is the inconsistency part. If you have also a lot of different opinions and graders, they're going to make different subjectivity and choices of what they're trying to do. I mean, that's absolutely retarded. I mean, you would think that it's going to be very consistent. Seriously, very consistent. You expect this shit to be exactly the same every single time. If you send in a card that's like, let's say, basic 9.5, all 9.5s and a 9 surface, and then you go off and spend $10 more to get it reviewed so you can get a bump up in a subgrade because you spent more money, don't you think, doesn't it hurt that, hey, to know that, hey, that card, you have to pay more money to get a bump up? It hurts even more if you grade the damn card, you sell to someone else, and then they go off and bump the card for you. That's the problem. The whole thing is a game in the sense that there's revenue involved. There is this money system involved. No, they're not accepting bribes. If you gave them a $100 bill or whatever, I don't think that occurs. Hopefully that doesn't hurt. But I will tell you that there definitely is a level of subjectivity when you're grading cards, no question whatsoever. There is no way that Beckett, for example, will be able to grade exactly the same subgrades on every single card. I will dare you to test it. To send in your cards, crack them out of the case, and see if they come back exactly the same subgrade. There's no way. There's no way that is possible because they make so many, they look at so many cards. Like I just highlighted to you, if you're in a dark room, you're always looking at cards, you're gonna make mistakes. So back to this nice gentleman, I believe he's from Switzerland. He asked, how do you grade cards? And you got me fired up here, okay? A little bit concerned here. Great question. Grading of cards, he asked the number of chips on the edges and the surface and the corners. Honestly, man, if you go to their website, Beckett.com or PSAcard.com, in their grading standards, I would read it like a Bible. Or if you go to VintageMagic.com and you click on any of our items for sale, the glossary section will have a detailed breakdown of what PSA, Beckett, and also our standards are in general. Now, let me be clear about a couple things. Is the standards going to be exactly to the T for any company? No. No. Have you seen the cards that are out there? There are some 9.5s that, honestly, they don't deserve 9.5s. There are some 9.5s that deserve higher grade, higher quality subgrades. It's the problem with the industry is that it's subjective. You, the consumer, need to still make, I mean, this is really unfortunate. You still need to make the right judgment call on what to buy, how to buy. It's up to you to determine that. Plain and simple, it's kind of counterintuitive. You would think that you buy a graded card and the card should be that grade or get that same exact subgrade. That's not necessarily how it works, in the sense that I always say this to all my clients. You have to make sure you're buying a card that is of quality of the card. If it's a very soft quality grade, meaning, you know, it's not necessarily worthy of the grade, you can tell. You're gonna have to make your own your own bias. Now, this is very interesting. If you go to PSA or Beckett and you ask them, hey, you know what? I don't like the quality of this card. This doesn't look correct. Or, you know, they'll start defending themselves. The grading companies are not always going to admit, they rarely admit that they are wrong. And the main reason why they don't admit that they're wrong is because their reputation's on the line. If they make mistakes, I mean, PSA, at least in their respect, has a money-back guarantee. is that if they make a mistake on any grades and it affects the value of the card, they will pay a cash difference or equivalent in some way, maybe grading fees, whatever. So it makes sense because PSA is a publicly traded company. Let me say this again. They are on the NASDAQ as CLCT, Collectors Universe. And that's a bigger company that does stamps, coins, all these memorabilia. PSA themselves have to answer to the shareholders. There's a reputation that they have to have. Beckett is a private company. Their guarantee, there is no guarantee. What they say is what it is. So this question you pose, my friend, is a very interesting question because there's this level of subjectivity that's involved in the grading. There's a level of like a randomness in like the speed of the grading, meaning like you could get really tired when you're working, you can make all these errors. Let's say you had an order of 1,000 cards. Are you gonna make any errors on 1,000 cards if you did that all one day? I mean, I'm not sure how many cards they do per day, but that's pretty crazy, right? You're going to make some errors. Is there any bias? I'm pretty sure there is. Because if you're going to do that many cards, grade that much for speed, and take an X amount of revenue as part of your compensation, if that is part of their compensation, I'm pretty sure it has to be part of it. Because if you're Joe, here's Joe, right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at this card for like 5 years and yep, I'm gonna clock out. I'm gonna look at this card and then I'm gonna put it down really slowly. I'm gonna go to the bathroom break. I'm gonna go smoking outside, do what the hell I want. Do you really think Joe is going to get his job back or you can get it, stay with the company? Hell no, absolutely not. Do you see the point? If you are a grader in the company, you are getting pressured and you are getting compensated in some way, maybe Starbucks cards, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it has to be because their wage, it's not strong enough. I can tell you right off the bat, they're not getting paid $50 an hour to grade. That's $100K a year. Are you kidding me? So these graders, they're not making the big bucks to grade the cards. They must be getting compensated on speed or performance in some way, just like any other job. Now, I'll put a caveat here. I am not knocking on graders. I am knocking on the system itself. The system of not inconsistency. The system of possibly being compensated on speed. Because obviously, if you go on eBay or go on any website, there is a variance of what a 9, 8.5, a 9.5, a PSA 10. There is so much variance. It's crazy. In fact, PSA uses a term called I appeal. I appeal. What does that mean, for God's sake? It's what, if it looks the part, they may just give it the grade because of the I appeal, the way it looks. Are you kidding me? I appeal? That's kind of like me, the grader, like being, oh, you know what? I'm having a great day. And let's just be honest. I'm gonna, give more grades today. Fuck it. I don't know if they know who they're grading for. Who knows if that's a conspiracy? But let's just say they're having a good day. They grade really strong quality cards. The eye appeal looks great. But let's say they're having a bad day. Let's say emotions are involved. Who's to say they might say, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Now, obviously, they have what you call senior graders who inspect the cards, verify the cards, and obviously can trump them. I'm sure that, that happens all the time. And for more high dollar value cards, they probably have multiple graders, senior graders that look at it and sign off on it. Look, my concern, back to your question, is more of the fact that there's inconsistencies. Because whatever I say to you, or whatever the Beckett website says, or the PSA website says, there's going to be errors all across the board. There's human error in any grading type of company. That's just the way it is. Doesn't matter if it's comics, doesn't matter if it's baseball cards or toys, doesn't matter if it's magic cards, it doesn't matter. There is a variance. Now, so, to your point of what do I buy, how do I invest in it, sorry to say this, but you, the consumer, needs to stand up and pick the cards that fit your needs. Grading is what I call kind of like a range scale. It gives you the opportunity to have something that's authenticated and backed by a company, which is great. And it's cased, it's preserved, it's protected. Yes, I agree. But it is up to you to decide if that card is truly deserving of the grade. That's what it comes down to. Is that what does a mint card look to you? Now, you're gonna be kind of disappointed here. Here, hold on to your seat. If you feel like a mint card is truly a pack fresh, doesn't have any chips anywhere, no scratches, that's not considered a mint card in grading. Seriously, type in PSA, BGS 9, any Magic card out there, and you'll see white, chipping, visibility everywhere. Or near mint to mint. That's called 8 or 8.5, 8.5 plus. You'll look online. There is chipping everywhere. Playware like it's freaking played. Guys, a near mint to mint graded card, 8, is not equal to an ungraded Magic card that you assume that's mint out of a pack. It's not, players, especially players that think that a PSA or BGS card, whatever, 8 or 9 is mint out of the pack. It is not considered that all the time. There are flaws and inconsistencies. Grading goes to gem mint and pristine for Beckett, for example. So there's other ranges. Even gem mint cards look even like mint cards because there's a range, there's subjectivity. All right, guys, I hope this video kind of gave you guys some things to think about. I'm not going to go into more depth today, but I think this is a good start to something very deep, longer conversation. Talk to you guys later this week.